Drive them out. Not halfway, not mostly, not until it gets uncomfortable. All the way out. Welcome back to another episode on Asset Rise. I'm your host, Khadija, but you can call me the Asset. This is episode 5, and today we're going to go into the book of Judges, chapter 1. I need you to stay with me on this one because the word is going to hit a little different. The lesson of Judges chapter 1 is simple but severe. Partial obedience is still disobedience. When God gives you a command to drive something out, to let something go, to remove something from your territory, and you only go halfway, you leave the door open, and whatever you left behind will come back. And either it's going to pull you away from God or drag you right back into captivity. Let's get into it. So Judges chapter 1 opens right after the death of Joshua. The land of Canaan was promised to the people of Israel, but now they actually had to go and take it. And the very first thing they did is ask God a question. It says in Judges 1, verses 1 to 2, after the death of Joshua, the Israelites asked the Lord, who of us is to go up first to fight against the Canaanites? The Lord answered, Judah shall go up. I have given the land into their hands. They asked God first. Okay? Before a single move was made, they inquired of the Lord. That is not just pattern, it's strategy. That's the key. Ask God first, then act. Judah was chosen first for a reason. Genesis 49 foretold Judah's leadership. It was the largest, most prominent tribe, and it carried the royal lineage that would eventually lead to David and then to Jesus. God honors his promises. Judah being placed at the front was not by accident. It was considered divine ordination. But here is what makes Judah smart. Before going into battle, Judah didn't go alone. It went to its brother Simeon and said, come with me into the territory, and I will come with you into yours. That's also strategy, a part of the formula. It's unity. Simeon's inheritance actually sat within Judah's borders, so the alliance made practical and spiritual sense. Together they had more strength, more coverage, more capacity to win. The lesson here: cooperation is not weakness, it's wisdom. Find your team, know who complements your assignment, and go together. Because isolation often weakens what unity strengthens. All right. Now, here's where the chapter takes a turn. Of the 12 tribes of Israel, only a handful fully drove out the people in their territory. The rest, they compromised. They didn't drive the Canaanites out completely. Instead, they forced them into labor. They kept them around. Subjugated, yes, but still present. Still in the territory. Still breaking and breathing the same air. And I need you to understand why this is a problem. When you don't fully drive out what God told you to remove, it does not just sit there quietly. It watches. It waits. It looks for the moment when your guard is down, when your faith gets just a little shaky, or when you get comfortable, and then it moves. It either turns you away from God, or it drags you back into the very captivity you thought you escaped. This is not just ancient Israel problems. This is a problem right now. Think about it. Think about the things God told you to let go of that you're still holding on to? The relationship he told you to walk away from that you keep revisiting? The habit he delivered you from that you keep going back to? The environment he pulled you out of that you keep going back to? You might have won a little bit of the victory, but you didn't drive it out all the way. And now it still has access to the territory. The access is costing you more than you realize. If God says drive them out, drive them all the way out. They have to go fully, in totality, like no exceptions. Judges chapter 1, it sets a spiritual pattern that runs through the entire book. And I want you to see yourself in it for a moment. Because this cycle is not just historical, it's currently happening right now. The cycle goes like this. 1. Inquiry. Israel asks God. God answers. They move with direction and divine backing. This is from a place of alignment, where obedience and faith are working together. 2. Victory. God delivers the enemy into their hands. The win comes. The breakthrough happens. Things start moving the way God said they would. 3. Compromise. Instead of finishing the assignment completely, they settle. They keep what should have been removed. They negotiate with God with what he said to eliminate. Small compromises feel manageable in the moment, but they become the largest obstacle after. 4th, consequence. The Canaanite presence remains, and over time, it tests Israel, pulls them towards idolatry, and sets up the oppression cycle that defines the rest of the book. So I want to ask you, honestly, which part of this cycle are you in right now? Are you inquiring, asking God, and moving with him? Are you celebrating a victory but holding back on full obedience? Are you in compromise, keeping something you know needs to go? Or are you already living in the consequence of a past compromise, wondering why things feel so hard? The good news is the cycle can always be broken. It starts with going back to step 1. Ask God. Get back in alignment. And this time, finish what he started in you. I want to stop for a second and talk about partnerships, because Judges 1 gives us one of the most underrated examples of a divine counterpart in this entire section. So in Judges 1 verses 12 to 15, Caleb said, "Whoever attacks Kiriath Sepher and captures it, I will give my daughter Akash in marriage." Othniel, son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother, captured it. So Caleb gave his daughter Akash to him in marriage. One day when she came to Othniel, she urged him to ask her father for a field. When she got off her donkey, Caleb asked her, "What can I do for you now?" She replied, "Do me a special favor. Since you have given me land in the Negev, give me also springs of water." So Caleb gave her the upper and lower springs. Othniel was courageous. He went and conquered the land. He earned the title, the recognition, the reward. But it was Akash who saw what was still missing. They had the land, but the land in Negev without water is dry, unlivable, unfruitful. She knew it, and she was bold enough to ask her father directly, "Give me the springs too. I need some." And Caleb blessed them with both the upper and the lower springs. This is what a divine counterpart does. They don't just celebrate the win with you. They see what is still needed and they move to secure it. Othniel conquered the land. Akash secured the provision. Together now, they have a full picture. The marriages and partnerships that God is bringing together in this season are not just personal unions. There is an alliance taking place, a divine joining of purpose. Two people whose gifts, discernment, and assignments complement each other so completely that together they can accomplish something neither could do alone. Don't just pick up anybody because of convenience. Don't partner with somebody simply because they're available or because there's chemistry. A divine counterpart knows what you need. They see your blind spots, gang. They ask the bold questions. They're not intimidated by your calling. They're equipped to stand beside you. I'm praying in the name of Jesus right now that everyone under the sound of my voice, that every partnership coming into your life in this season is filled with wisdom, initiative, assertiveness, and purpose. That whoever comes alongside you knows how to get the job done. And that you have discernment to recognize them when they arrive. Most importantly, as God has been establishing me and expanding my territory, He's also been making it very clear not everyone who's been around me belongs in this next season. I had to learn this lesson recently through a situation with someone in my life, a person I had known for years, someone I considered cool. And in one moment, I realized clearly that their choices, their mindset, their lack of accountability, where a direct liability to my assignment is concerned. I was in their proximity by circumstance, and it put me in a position that had nothing to do with who I am or where I'm going. And I said to myself in that moment, I'm an asset. A liability and an asset cannot coexist in the same place and produce anything fruitful. You will run me into the ground faster than I could ever go by myself. This is the same thing that the tribes of Israel did wrong. They allowed the people they were supposed to drive out to remain in their territory. And those people became the very thing that compromised their faithfulness to God. Be very obedient and observant about who has access to your territory right now. Not everyone who has been around you is supposed to go with you. Some people are assigned for a season. And when that season ends, they need to go. Not with anger, not with drama, but with clarity and conviction. You're too close. You're too close to your breakthrough to let a liability be your downfall. I personally want a team that knows what they're doing. People who carry purpose, discernment, and accountability. People who are moving, not just talking. Because there's too much work to do and too little time to keep playing catch up with people who are not serious about the assignment to begin with. There's one more moment in Judges chapter 1 that I can't skip over. The tribe of Manasseh and the tribe of Dan. They were given portions of the land, probably the biggest portions, and they did not take them fully. Why? Judges 1:19 says, "The Lord was with Judah. They took possession of the hill country, but they were unable to drive the people from the plains because they had iron chariots." That was their excuse. Iron chariots, the most advanced military technology of that time. And when some of them of the tribes they saw them, their faith collapsed. They looked at the chariots and said, "We cannot win this. This is too big." But God already promised them the land. He had already said, "Go, and I will deliver them into your hands." The iron chariots didn't change the promise, it only tested their faith. Psalms 20, verses 7 says it plainly. Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God. And Deuteronomy 20, verse 1 says, "Do not be afraid of them, because the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt, will be with you." God already promised victory over the chariots. He promised it before you ever saw it. The question is whether you still believe the promise when chariots show up. Judges chapter 1 ends with a sobering summary. In those days, there was no king in Israel. Everyone did what was right in their own eyes. The compromise of the tribes, the partial obedience, the failure to fully drive out the enemy, it all pointed to a deeper need: faithful leadership. A king who would never compromise. And that king was coming through Judah's line, pointing all the way forward to Jesus, the ultimate king who never settled, never compromised, and never left the assignment unfinished. So let me leave you with 3 things from Judges 1. 1. Ask God first. Before you make a move or do anything, inquire of the Lord. Judah's success started with a question. 2. Finish what he starts. Partial obedience leaves partial results. Whatever God told you to drive out, drive it all the way out. 3. Choose your team and your counterpart wisely. I cannot stress this enough. Judah went with Simeon. Othniel was completed by Akash. You're not built to do this alone. But you're also not built to just do it with anyone. Be very intentional. Be discerning. God is not going to send you into your next season with the wrong people beside you. But you have to be wise enough to recognize who belongs and bold enough to release who does not. The land is already promised. The victory is already declared. The only question left is, are you going to go all the way in? Make sure you drive them out, all the way out. And don't forget, walk into everything God has for you. Peace and blessings.